Hello, we're going to take a look in the S&P and another 8 altcoins besides Bitcoin. Shall we? So, come along. First, I'm going to switch to the terminal. And then I'm going to change for the market and take a look at the S&P here. Well, S&P is behaving just like we have thought it would. And today's upward movement, I think it's within a possible downward flag. It's actually testing these levels here where we had these stops. See, February, March 2018, and then October, November, and December 18.2. And another top here in February. So we're testing that. It's very likely, it would be very likely for a downward flag to bloom right over here. So, but the important point is that we're seeing a top here. That's a top, definitely a top. You see that this downward movement is bigger than these last two. From all the downward movements of this upward trend, right? So that is a top and reinforces the possibility for this to be just a pullback, and reinforces also the possibility that, well, actually our analysis that this upward trend started 2009 has been reversed, and if it has, we're going to see a drop of a third of its value in the S&P, as I've been saying here in the channel for a long time already. What reinforces that is some of the commodities. Actually, oil prices, for instance. You see they break the support trend line here, and they're flagging downward, rectangling down. So why is the oil prices coming down? They're coming down because they're not foreseeing a economic expansion. On the opposite, they're forecasting a economic contraction, right? So that's something that goes along with our analysis that the S&P is going to lose its value. And also gold, and which is a coincidence because two store of values are going up, gold and Bitcoin. So is it the beginning of the flight for quality? Is it the beginning of people realizing that the S&P is entering a bear market and starting to position themselves with real value assets, store of value assets? Yeah, I think so. I think there's at least a portion of the upward movement of gold and Bitcoin, that is people coming from the stock markets. But let us take a look in the gold, and here it is. The gold is right here. Sorry, my voice, I got a cold. And so here's the gold going up. Broke this resistance trend line here. He's probably going further up, just like Bitcoin, right? So talking about the blonde guy, is yellow, right? Yeah. So let's take a look in the long-term chart of Bitcoin. And remember that we're seeing a weekly chart here, candle weekly chart. I have new thoughts about the long-term chart of Bitcoin, because I think nothing has started from zero as Bitcoin did. So this first movement, I'm deleting this first movement. So I start with, Bitcoin went from 0 to 32, then back to $2.2. So starting with a decent value of 2.2 and a decent time, 2012, it was really the beginning of Bitcoin, right? It starts to go up and produces what I suppose it will be called as wave 1. Impulsive wave 1. Then we had a correction. It's clearly a correction here. And then all the upward movement since 2015 to 2017 would have been wave 3. And the important thing is that it doesn't matter if we're going to call that wave 7 or the new wave 1 of the new cycle or wave 5, as I think it is, because I'm looking at this last upward movement here as wave 3. So we would be watching the beginning of wave 5 right here, right? So, but the important thing is that this downward trend resembles very much a correction wave, because it had first wave A, wave B, which was a descending triangle, and a descending triangle is always a correction wave. So we had 2 impulsive waves and 1 correction wave in between, which was a descending triangle. So that fits perfectly well in a correction wave. So if we had a correction wave here, then we're starting a new impulsive wave. So the point now is, where could it go? Well, you know where it will go? I don't have the slightest idea, but what I do is that I ask the market, and the market answers, because it just answers saying, well, Fausto, I also don't know, but look back what I've done in the past. And then we have to realize that in the books of the Dow theory, it's written that that wave 3 should be the biggest one. But you know what? I don't think so. That book was written almost 100 years ago, 1932. The theory, I mean, not the book itself. And Dow had much less data than we have today. And I think the fifth wave, the last wave of the cycle, is that one that carries all the euphoria with it, and it fits perfectly well with the arena of Bitcoin nowadays. Remembering Dow that classified the upward movements. First one was in the expectation of the improvement of economics. And to bring into Bitcoin, it would be in the expectation that Satoshi's white paper would turn it into something. Then second upward movement, which would be wave 3 of Elliott, would be when economy has already improved, importing it to Bitcoin. It would be when Bitcoin was a reality, and it was actually a reality here from 2015 on. We had lots of people exchanging Bitcoin internationally, doing international payments. We had a lot of exchanges working. We had OTCs going on. We had establishments accepting Bitcoin. So it was a reality, right? And then we have the third impulsive wave, or the third upward movement, as classified by Dow, which would be the one that would carry all the euphoria and all the speculation, and it would be important to Bitcoin. Well, that would be the one which would happen whenever mainstream was coming to the arena, to the space of the cryptos. And that's exactly what's happening now, right? Just imagine Bakkt. Bakkt is starting a Bitcoin exchange. It's not somebody, it's Bakkt, New York Stock Exchange owner. And with all the credibility that it brings, right? So I think that's exactly what's happening now. So looking back at the chart, just please notice that if we then are starting an impulsive wave and we consider that it will be only the size of wave 5 of this wave 3, we would be heading to $65,000. $66,000. But if we consider that wave 5 would equal wave 3, then we would be going here to $330,000. And of course, if we consider that wave 5 would be equal of wave 1, then we would go over $1 million of Bitcoin, right? Could that happen? Am I saying that it's happening? Well, yes, I am. I am saying that we're entering a impulsive wave, and it will, at the least, in my opinion, in my analysis, break all-time high. And whenever it breaks all-time highs, it will bring a hype to the market. The FOMO is going to pulse, and who knows where Bitcoin can reach. I think Bitcoin is the new standard. We had the gold standard, we have the dollar standard now, and we will have the SAT standard. If you don't know it yet, SAT stands for short of Satoshi. Because you're not gonna buy a shirt in the shopping center and pay it in 0.00004732 bitcoins. You're gonna pay it in satoshis. Whenever Bitcoin is $100,000, everything's gonna be quoted in satoshis. All the fiat currencies, all the other cryptocurrencies are gonna be quoted in satoshi, as many of them are already. So be ready for the SAT standard. So 8 cryptos that we're keeping an eye on. Many have produced reversals, candlestick reversals. I'm sorry. This flu has really catched me. As I was saying, many of the altcoins have had candlestick reversals, but they're not holding it. So here are the ones that we're keeping an eye on, which are right here. So I'm going to organize in alphabetic order here and starting with Augur. I think we're probably going to issue a call to buy Augur because, see, it produced a reversal with a morning star candlestick pattern in an important support level, and it's holding that reversal candlestick pattern. And we have a situation here in which let me see, a 2.4 profit loss situation. From here to here is 2 times from here to the stop level, right? So that's the first one. Second one is Bitcoin Cash, which is holding a probable double bottom here, because this is happening above this important support level. So I don't think this is going to be a rectangle. It's resembling more a reversal to me. But we're keeping an eye. Whenever these resistances breaking, I think it's going to be a good catch, a good buy for our portfolio. BINANCE. Well, BINANCE, I have to adjust this first I got to erase all these, and then I have to adjust these trend line here. So the market stopped right on the spot of this upward trend line and is, well, apparently reversing. So apart from the possibility that this could eventually become a downward flag, I think we got a good chance of a good buy here, especially if it breaks, if it closes near the highs today. And besides, Binance is back to business, and I think it's very important that now with lights. It's very important that in the end, $40 million, it's nothing for Binance. And it has made it stronger, I would say, because there's nothing like necessity for you to go over your systems again and reshape it and reprogram it and increase the security of it. So I think in the end, Binance becomes a more trustful exchange. Binance Coin is one of my favorites. I think it should definitely be in your portfolio. And I think if it closes near the high today, you should consider putting it on, because it has so far outperformed Bitcoin for as long as it was around. July 2017. That's, of course, in Bitcoin. Look at that. It has outperformed Bitcoin all along, right? Now we have these, where is the 7th? The 7th, it's here. It was hacked in here, and it's almost back to the price it was, in the first day. It was higher. We would need to go up 16, 17% in order to go back to the price that it closed before the hacking day. So this is it for Binance. And the next one is, Monero. As technical analysis was alerting us, this accumulation was a continuation accumulation, but it projected the prices to the lows, the all-time lows, and we had a reversal now, a very drastic reversal. So we're just expecting a confirmation here, maybe with a good flag, upward flag or something like that in the hourly chart. So we would, yes, I just updated the quotes here that I had missed some of them. So this, I think, could be a good coin for you to put in your portfolio. So Nano, Nano was actually reverting, but not anymore, right? So if it closes below this former support level here, it won't have proved anything. So, but if it closes near the high, then we will have a bear trap, which is going to be a very important indication. So that's why we're keeping an eye on this. Now, it produced a sort of a double bottom here in its objective. It is swing objective. The market swinged here and made a downward trend of the same size of the last one. That's a percent variation in the log chart, right? Equal percent contractions, actually. So, but it's in the middle of nowhere, so you don't have you don't have a support level, for instance, to support these reversals. So we're expecting other confirmation, which we might have here if it produces a accumulation or something, right? And finally, ontology. Is it finally? No, there's Tesos yet. Ontology, well, it's producing a reversal that broke this resistance trend line in a very important support level. It's practically the all-time low support level. So what is it going to happen? Let's take a look in the hourly chart. It's drifting, so it's probably coming back down. It could make a pullback to the former resistance trend line. But as I said, we're keeping an eye on it. And then there's Tesos, which I thought was doing a upward a ascending triangle, but now it's for sure well, actually not for sure, but it is resembling a rectangle. So unless I'm being foolish and this is going to show me as a double top, which is not probable because of this reversal that happened here in the support, then we're seeing a possible upward movement, which would be the projection of the rectangle. That would be of 100% upward movement. So what to do? Well, keep an eye on the hourly chart. If it produces something interesting, then you enter. It hasn't, because it's actually drifting, right? So, my friends, this is it. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.